This is confirmation from the people that want to pay the money. Sponsors. Angel Reese fans are going to be pissed.
Although Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark's animosity has always been intense, a startling development has recently elevated it to a whole new level. Reese is said to have lashed out at Clark after losing a significant sponsorship agreement in a way that is making headlines and igniting internet debates. Was this a deliberate attempt to change the story or a furious outburst motivated by frustration? The tension between these two celebrities is more intense than ever, and fans, critics, and the sports world are all buzzing. The explosive story is as follows. Ice Cube gives Caitlin Clark $5 million. Why Angel Reese wasn't included? Sports and social media were both rocked by the initial shockwave. Ice Cube made a daring, headline-grabbing move that put him in the spotlight. He offered Caitlin Clark an incredible $5 million to join his Big Three league. The internet went into overdrive. Timelines blew up, fans argued, and every sports media organization hurried to report on it. However, one name was noticeably absent among all of that cacophony. Reese, Angel. Not even a hint, not a remark, not even an afterthought. Then things became even more acute. At LAX, TMZ cornered Ice Cube and asked the question that everyone wanted to know the answer to. Would Angel receive a deal similar to Caitlin's? He was quick and direct in his reply. No hesitation, no sugarcoating, just an outright rejection. The dynamic changed at that precise time. Once a rapidly emerging powerhouse in women's basketball, Angel Reese found herself on the outside looking in. This was strategy as much as shadow. We are in business to make money, as Cube stated without hesitation. Interpretation. Revenue is comparable to Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese simply doesn't match the statistics. That statement was not limited to the sports media. It also made its way into corporate boardrooms. Sponsors noticed. Angel's aura began to fade. Once certain endorsements felt uncertain today. The kind of metrics that entice investors to write large checks were not being produced by the hype. It didn't sit well with her fans. They mobilized online, accusing Cube of ignoring a diligent black lady who had battled for every bit of her achievement. However, Ice Cube wasn't expressing emotion. The maths was being done by him. The NBA is not the Big Three. Risks are high, budgets are limited, and every dollar must ensure a return. Clark, Caitlin, you can bet on her. Arenas are sold out, ratings are smashing records, and jersey sales are skyrocketing. She is everything. Angel might bring fire, but Clark brings the formula that accountants and algorithms adore. The reality. This was never about personal grudges or positive emotions. It has to do with worth. It is printed by Caitlin Clark. Attendance soars by an astounding 105% when she takes the court. Sales of her jerseys have increased by more than 1,000%. When she plays, what is the typical WNBA audience? 15,591 individuals. These are actual income figures, not PR gimmicks or media twists. She sells herself. Brands don't need to be marketed to her. Yes, Angel Reese is a commanding presence. She has developed a persona that depends on edge, confidence, and rivalry. However, there is a thin line between profitability from headlines. Instead of investing in social media skirmishes, corporations invest in stability. The picture of Caitlin Clark? Clean, marketable, and unbreakable. She avoids controversy, gives constant professionalism, and commends her teammates. Drama, on-court taunts, post-game criticism, and public altercations have all been part of Angel's trajectory. It's entertainment for fans. It's a danger for brands. The $1,000 shoe rumor came next. There are rumors that when Angel proposed an extremely costly sneaker to Reebok, he was laughed out of the room. Whether this is true or not, perception is crucial to branding. The social reach of her team has already increased by more than 260% because to Caitlin Clark's involvement in national advertising campaigns. Not only is she reaping the rewards of the recent WNBA boom, but she is also spearheading it. Caitlin transforms routine games into must-watch events, while Angel might spark a viral moment. Angel has been candid about dealing with constant criticism, threats, and internet harassment. With the support of her family, hometown, and teammates, she has persevered through it all. However, resilience by itself does not sign contracts in the cold calculations of business. Numbers do. And that's where it's getting harder to ignore the distance between her and Caitlyn. Now that fans are debating whether Ice Cube made the right decision, the stage is set for a more in-depth discussion that will focus on hard, cold facts rather than drama. This leads us to the analogy. Here's the catch, though. What if the figures reveal something you're not prepared to accept? Remain here. Angel Reese's battle to remain relevant in the face of trouble and taunts the ideal marketing dream was meant to be Angel Reese. She seemed destined for the limelight based on her appearance, self-assurance, and unreserved flair. Beyond just a memorable moniker, Bayou Barbie was a brand that generated conversation. She was in control of her moment, particularly when the now-famous "You Can't See Me" joke went viral and made her a household celebrity almost immediately. The limelight is much harsher in the WNBA, and Reese's glow has begun to fade. Suddenly, every brand wanted a piece of her energy. Her on-court performance has been erratic, her stats have been unreliable, and her name frequently trends on social media posts rather than game highlights. She has been described as more of a TikTok celebrity than a great player, rather than Rookie of the Year material. When Ice Cube publicly stated why she wasn't selected for his Big 3 project, the fractures really began to emerge. He didn't sugarcoat it. It was business, not her talent. He claimed that she was unable to provide the same value as Caitlyn Clark. Her sponsoring industry was rocked by that one statement. Deals weren't always cancelled. They simply stopped phoning. Offers for the campaign fell silent. The glamorous drink partnerships, the beauty promos, and even the much-discussed cryptocurrency agreement all vanished into thin air. Her team is working feverishly behind the scenes, knowing full well that her market share is declining. Reese has expressed her feelings of being silenced, misinterpreted, and even singled out. However, the sponsor's silence is more powerful than anything she could tweet. Caitlyn Clark, meantime, has been changing the course of WNBA history. She didn't simply show there, rather, she burst into the scene. Once an underappreciated team, the Indiana Fever now pack venues both at home and away from home. Her entrance changed the league's whole financial situation in addition to increasing interest. Sales of Fever jerseys increased by an incredible 1,093%. That's a revenue earthquake, not hype. More than one-third of all WNBA games are attended by Clark. The stands are crowded when she's on the court, but when she's not, the mood is much more subdued. After her debut, League Pass subscriptions tripled, and in only 3 months, she amassed over 800 million social media views, more than the NFL and NBA combined. Brands recognize that she is more than simply a player. She is a one-woman economic powerhouse. Because of this, Reese's sponsorships have limited to smaller-scale initiatives like Reebok drops, which are frequently tainted by rumors and criticism, whereas Caitlyn's face appears in numerous national ads. While one is working to increase the league's reach, the other is still working to improve their own reputation. That was evident in Ice Cube's business decision. He made Caitlyn an offer of $15 million and a chance to work on a documentary series. They didn't turn to Reese when she refused. Instead, they just walked on. It's a striking contrast. Instead than chasing headlines, Caitlyn makes them happen. She is ensuring a legacy in addition to developing a brand. In the meantime, Reese is making a lot of effort to remain relevant in a league where opinions may change in a handful of games. The strain is evident. Some brands are now hesitant because of the public rivalries, confident smiles, and stinging clapbacks that once propelled her ascent. Although controversy used to appear like her superpower, it is now seen as a weakness in the corporate world, where unpredictability isn't edgy but rather costly. The tone of her social media has also changed. More contemplative posts about development and community, with fewer hot captions. However, the old image cannot be completely eliminated by the makeover. Viral doesn't always equate to useful in a market that values consistency and dependability, and sponsors have long memories. Reese is discovering that professional basketball is just as much about business strategy as it is about skill. Additionally, competition is intense in both sectors. Additionally, the conflict between perception and performance is only getting worse as these two emerging stars follow such radically divergent trajectories. This leads us to the following chapter, the response from the fans. So what happens when hard numbers, enthusiasm, and loyalty come together? Keep an eye out. Ice Cube is criticized by fans for selecting Caitlyn Clark over Angel Reese. Angel Reese may contend that she's being misinterpreted, but the unvarnished reality? The market quickly corrected itself since she was overpriced. The discourse changed almost overnight. Her devoted followers jumped to her defense, criticizing Ice Cube and clogging timelines with charges of unfair treatment. However, a balance sheet's reality cannot be altered by a popular hashtag. Cube is just calculating. He isn't anxious, cancelled, or even shaken. He believes it is not wise to invest millions in a player whose brand appears to be more unstable than profitable. He's not in the mood to roll those dice because it's gambling. Reese lost leverage as a result of the consequences in addition to losing a sizable salary. Caitlin Clark is still grinning her way into endorsement deals and making perfect no-look passes on the court, even as she tries to change her public persona. The change was abrupt and unreserved. Ice Cube publicly acknowledged that the Big Three couldn't and wouldn't give Reese the same $5 million contract they had given Clark, according to Yahoo Sports. According to him, the Big Three are in the business of regularity rather than turmoil. Caitlin Clark is the model's poster kid, according to Cube. She has been demonstrating that generating controversy is not necessary to dominate headlines and generate revenue. Conversely, Reese had her moment. She was the embodiment of ferocity, passion, and infectious confrontations. However, she mistook achievement for attention at some point. Reese was popular for her clapbacks, taunting from the sidelines, and off-court turmoil, while Clark was discreetly increasing her stats, setting attendance records, and securing sponsors. The type of limelight she was in was really intense. However, it burns out quickly. The brands disappeared along with that enthusiasm. Calls for endorsements decreased and then stopped. The excitement that had previously surrounding her name began to seem like yesterday's news, and Cube made a decision that was almost icy in its simplicity after weighing the prospective return against the expense. No profit, no production. It had nothing to do with disrespect. Reese was not personally targeted by Ice Cube. He made a commercial decision. Caitlin Clark has a track record of generating income. She attracts viewers, sells jerseys, and packs venues without requiring PR teams to do damage management. However, Reese had developed a reputation that, although appealing to fans, caused businesses to hesitate. For sports media, the intense rivalry and unreserved trash talk are an exciting story, but for cautious investors, it's a warning sign. Reese is now dealing with a change as Clark's image appears in national advertisements and her bank account grows with new